Hello and welcome to The Last Tackle. In the studio we have got two gents who made over 950 professional appearances. It's Adrian Morley and Kevin Brown, and we've got a very special guest as well. One of the best trophies in world sport. We have got the Betfred Challenge Cup in the studio with us. And Moz, you lifted it as captain for Warrington, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
It's quite heavy, isn't it?
It is quite heavy, yeah. So I won it with Leeds in '99, but then it was extra special at Warrington because I was captain at the time, and we won it 3 times in 4 years, which was it's amazing just to play in a final, but to actually win it and to actually lift the trophy was incredible memories. And when I see it, it always brings a smile to my face, and very exciting that we've got the quarterfinals coming up this weekend. And yeah, there's Super League's fantastic, don't get me wrong, but it adds a bit of extra special when the Challenge Cup comes round. There's a lot on the line.
And growing up in the back garden, pretending to be whoever, wanted to be at Wembley, didn't you, playing in the Challenge Cup final?
Adrian Morley, I'm running in. And that's about as close as I've got to it, Mark.
I didn't want to remind you.
I played in 4, and unfortunately they went the wrong way. But like Moz says, just to have that experience of walking out at Wembley or Cardiff or wherever it is, with your badge on your chest and you're proud. It's such a special thing that we've got in England, and I think that's one thing that we have got over the NRL. The history of this competition is unbelievable. Whether you're English, New Zealand, Australian, they know about this competition and how important it is. And
it's early June now, so we're edging towards that May spot like it always used to be.
Yeah, and hopefully we get some good weather for these games. I think it's synonymous for playing in the sun, the Challenge Cup. So I'm sure this weekend there'll be fireworks on the field, and by all accounts the weather's going to be good. So what a start of the season we've had already, but this is the business end now for the Challenge Cup, and yeah, some mouth-watering clashes, and I can't wait to watch them.
Right, we'll talk about the Betfred Challenge Cup in detail. Let's just reflect on the Betfred Super League. After 7 rounds, Catalans are top. Warrington are up there as well, only losing 2. Wigan look good. Saints obviously lost at Catalans at the weekend. A lot to talk about. Who's impressed you the most so far?
Wigan, even though they did come up short against St Helens on a Good Friday, but it was a fantastic game. Could have gone either way, but Wigan, for me, have been the form team. Winning the World Cup Challenge was a fantastic boost for the British game. It was a great occasion, you know, full house there at Wigan, and I think Wigan have been fantastic all year. They've only had 1 loss so far, but you've just mentioned them names there, St Helens, Catalans. Unfortunately, it's the same teams as last year. We've not seen any emerging potential victors, although Warrington
only lost twice, obviously, to Catalan on both occasions.
Could be Warrington's, yeah, you're right there, Mark. But I mean, it's been fantastic. You know, for me, my favourite game was the St Helens Wigan game. I thought it was fantastic on Good Friday, but been really impressed with the skill, and yeah, long may it continue.
You commentated on Catalan St Helens at the weekend. That was some game as well.
Yeah, unbelievable. And I think Hull KR and Catalans are 2 real dark horses this year. I think Saints and Wigan are the obvious choices for everyone because consistently they have been so good. But
do you think it's Wigan Saints with Catalans just behind and maybe Hull KR a bit further behind?
No, I think Catalans have earned the right to be right in the mix. They've just beat St Helens, and they beat St Helens with a bit of adversity too. Jordan Abdul going off after 7 minutes, and I was really impressed with the span of, you know, the 4 Frenchmen, Fage, Artemorg, Da Costa and Cesar Rouget, who came on at standoff. So what Steve McNamara's done there, he's not just gone and bought, you know, all the best players from Australia. He's nurtured this talent alongside the best players, and I think what Sam Tompkins is doing is roll off the field. You can clearly see the influence it's having.
Contrasting fortunes for 2 of your old clubs, Moz. Leeds, obviously, we'll discuss them in detail, but where are Warrington at then, do you think? Obviously, Sam Burgess seems to be popular, the players seem to like him.
Yeah, well, in my opinion, they've had a massive improvement from the past couple of years. I think that there's a lot more grit about them, a lot more steel. I think there's still a lot to come, a lot more improvement to come from them. But they're a lot happier. They look like they're playing with more of a smile on their face, even though they've had a couple of losses. I just think they will improve, and I think they'll get a few more scalps. Speaking to the players, there is I mentioned the happy camp, but I do think they have really took to Sam Burgess the way he coaches and just his influence around the place. You know, everyone realises how good he was as a player, and I think that's reflecting in the way he's coaching. And I think, as I say, that they will improve. I think they'll be up there at the end of the year. And I think before the season started, I think they would have looked at the Challenge Cup and said that's certainly winnable, because it's a knockout competition. You only got to win a certain amount of games. You know, the grand final is more of a marathon. But I think they'll be looking at this. They'll be confident at the weekend. But I've been impressed with Warrington, and as I say, there's more to come.
Let's just talk about the Steve Prescott MB Man of Steel standings. Both of you two are assessors. Mark Sneed is leading the table at the moment.
Yeah. Well, if you look, you know, at Salford's success, you know, it all comes down to him. I think he's probably the best kicker in Super League. Sneed. He's very smart. He's got a great rugby league brain, so it's no surprise to me to see him leading the table. Just looking at, there's no forwards there. It's very hard for a forward to make the grade now. Just the way it's judged, and you know, the 3-2-1 numbers. It's hard for a forward to get up there. I think the closest we've had is, you know, Walmsley and maybe Farrell, who've made the top three over the previous years. But you know, I think it's great for Sneeder, and you know, if he keeps playing well and he gets to support the team around him, there's no reason why he can't go all the way.
Yeah, I agree. Sneed he's rolled back the years, hasn't he? I think when he left Hull, Hull were happy to see the back of him, and Salford wanted him, but I think Hull would open him up with their arms wide open now and get him back there. But he's pulling the strings. He's a very, very smart player, and he's almost the conduit for Paul Rowley onto the field, and whatever Paul Rowley says, he does, and he's orchestrating that fantastically well. The only blotch he's had is the short dropout. We mentioned it before. The short dropout, I'm not sure where that came from, because if you look at Salford, you know, they've won 5 out of 7, and they should have won that game against Wigan, and you know, they're disappointing against Casford. They could be right at the top, and then what would we be saying then? So they're just going under the radar a little bit, but Mark Sneed's pulling the strings.
Right, let's just talk about the fixtures very quickly from last week. More woe for Hull. Huddersfield 56, Hull 22. Yeah, and
something needs to change quickly. I think the fact that it's not just the losing games and the losing narrowly. They're getting absolutely ripped to pieces. I saw a stat, the last 3 occasions that Huddersfield have played Hull FC, it's been over 50 points. Now, sometimes in sport you get well beaten, and probably once every couple of years you can be beat by 50, but not consecutively beaten at home. I really feel sorry for the fans. The players look like they've got no confidence left, and once things start going downhill, it rapidly picks up, and it almost just capitulates into a performance that is disgusting. So something needs to change. I'm not sure what, but yeah, for Hull and the fans, that it needs to act quickly.
Spoken about Saturday night, that was a cracker. Catalan Dragons versus St Helens. That was a brilliant watch as well. Castleford beating Salford, and Castleford getting the first points on the board.
Yeah, this was probably the upset of the round. No one picked Castleford to get the win, but I did think the week before against Leeds they were much improved, even though they went down against Leeds. The first half in particular, I thought they were fantastic, Castleford. And that's obviously given confidence coming into the Salford game. And you know, Salford, I think their defence was off. You know, they scored 24 points, Salford, and that's enough to win lots of games. But I thought Salford's defence was off, which was surprising, really, because that's been their strength all year. But fair play to Cass, they took the chances well, and you know, they scored 30 odd points, and you know, that'll give them a lot of confidence, and they'll need it, because if they would have gone into the quarterfinals with another loss, you know, it could have been a big score against them. But I'm pleased with Castleford. You know. Good on them. You know, there's only London now who are yet to post a win, and you know, let's hope they can get over the line soon as well.
Hull KR beating London Broncos 50-10. I quite like watching Hull KR.
Yeah, I think they're doing a lot of things good, and especially off the field too. They've sold out every game so far, and against London, 50 points to 10 looks like a big victory, but I don't think it reflects the game. I think the first half was 40 points to 4. It was an absolute whitewash, and then they almost put the handbrake on, rested the players up a little bit, and concentrating on this week, the redemption against Lee Leopards. But no, what they're doing over there under Willie Peters, I think every time I watch Hull KR, Mikey Lewis just seems to be getting better and better. He does stuff that no one knows. I'm sure he doesn't know what he's about to do, and it makes it so hard to defend against. And I think they've found the balance right now. They're playing Nye Levels at fullback and Petterick in the centre, and their attack is just purring. So yeah, anyone who comes up against them at the minute will know they're in a game.
Right, 2-year-old clubs, Moz. Leeds 8, Warrington 34. We've spoken about Warrington and Sam Burgess. What's going on at Leeds? They're so inconsistent.
They are, that's the word we've described them about over the last couple of seasons. But I thought this year they were getting it right. They had a couple of real notable wins. I thought the scoreline probably flattered Warrington. Really, I thought it was a lot closer than the score 34-8. But fair play to Warrington, they went there, and it's a big scalp going to Headingley and getting a win nowadays. But even though there's still that little bit of inconsistency there with Leeds, but when they do get it right, they're as good as the top teams, your Wigans, your St Helens. But they just need to work hard at training and tweak a few things and hopefully get it right. But if Warrington keep improving the way they do, it's probably no shame in going down to Warrington at the moment. So I don't think Leeds will be panicking too much, but it's a bit of a worry when you're getting beat at home, definitely.
Kev, I keep saying this, I can't work out Leeds out this term. I don't know where they're at. There's some big signings pre-season.
Some huge signings, and a couple in particular in Andy Ackers and Brodie Croft, and are living up to nowhere near the potential yet. How we saw them play for the respective clubs last year, they're an absolute mile off. And yeah, Rowan's got a big job to galvanise that squad, because there is a full new spine in Lockie Miller and Frawley added in there, and it will take time. But at the minute, attack-wise, they look out of ideas, and defensively, they just seem real passive. They sat back on the line. One thing I will say about Warrington, though, I think Ben Curry's been sensational in the middle. I worried for Warrington at the weekend. We know big men like Moz up front, they had a few missing, but Ben Curry at the back of the scrum, I think that's one thing that Sam Burgess has got right, and they're looking good. But for Leeds, it's back to the drawing board. It's going to take a little bit of time to change that form.
Right, that was round 7. Right, live in a Sportsman. And last weekend we brought you European Wheelchair Club Challenge, which was the Catalan Dragons versus the grand final winners, Wigan Warriors.
1.
Now he comes out to Deck.
That's 2.
Deck Roberts still going, looking to get those shoulders away. And I think he scored the try here. Manages to get himself over, quick as a flash. Victor Pooley now brings us out to the right. Catalans are going to be in the corner. Really good handling.
2.
Yeah, absolutely.
Vargas gets himself back upright and then plays out to Bashara, and they've gone for the early kick in the set, and it's Borson chasing it down, and if the ball doesn't beat him, he'll score, and I think he's got there in time. Seb Bashara, the Catalans captain, receiving the trophy, going over to celebrate with his teammates. The Catalan Dragons are the champions of Europe. They have won the European Club Challenge against the Wigan Warriors away from home.
It's incredible. A huge win here in Wigan is very important for the team, and congratulations to my boys, because very happy for us and for me. Thanks for all the dirigents in France. He watched a game with the TV link, and very happy.
Deck, that was a tough 80 minutes for you guys, but as I've just said to Chris, you must be really kind of proud of the way you stuck at it.
Loved it. I don't know what the score was, I'll be honest. I know we lost by a good chunk, but I'm just so proud of the boys, the way we hung in there, the way we stuck in. But, at half time we said it's not going to get any easier, we know that. Just make sure we're showing what being Wigan's about. When it gets hard, you go harder, keep sticking at it, keep going, just don't give up. Make sure it's respectable, and I feel like it was. I don't know if you do, but it felt like it was to me.
Yeah, brilliant coverage on the Sportsman. And Kev, it's great to see wheelchair rugby getting the exposure. It's a brilliant sport to watch.
It is, and I think everyone's getting hooked to it. It's so like rugby league, and it's completely different, but it's got the brutality, it's got the skill, it's got the fitness, the effort. Some of the tries he scored, the one we saw there from the kick over the top was as good as that we'll see in any Challenge Cup game this weekend, I'm sure. So, no, it's great to see, and it's great to see it on the Sportsman.
Yep. Most inclusive sport going, isn't it, Rugby League?
It is, yeah, fantastic. I echo what Kev said there. The skill these guys show in the wheelchair is absolutely fantastic. I didn't see a great deal of it until the World Cup when we watched it, and England got the famous victory against the French. And since then, I've been hooked. Disappointed we didn't get our hands on the World Cup challenge, but we'll go again, boy. It's a fantastic version of our sport. And along with the women's, you know, the game is really is booming at the moment. It's a fantastic to be part of it.
Right, let's turn our attention to the Betfred Challenge Cup. It's a quarter-final in the women's. That final will be at Wembley as well on the 8th of June. But so far on the Sportsman, the competition, it started in early January. And so far we've brought you 6 matches. Let's have a look back.
So here we go. Betfred Challenge Cup. Round 1 action, live and exclusive here on the Sportsman. We're underway. Sam Burns now on the other edge, and he's through again, and he gets the pass away.
Super. Brilliant,
and the try is scored. It's Lewis round.
Here he is now. Oh, that's beautiful.
That is a brilliant try.
Absolutely beautiful hands. And York Acorn nudge ahead. They're setting up for Williams, who's going to run it. Williams attacking the post. Here come York. Flick pass, and the rover. Nico Williams to win the cup tie for York.
They're away here. Spedding's through. He needs some support. It is coming, but he's going to go himself. He's going to go all the way. What a try this is going to be. From nowhere, that could be the ball game. And there's some space here. Gale could be away. Gale could be away to win the cup tie. He's going for the corner. He's going to make it. Featherstone Rovers win in the most dramatic of circumstances.
Spirals away. Oh, what a pass and what a try. And Matt Moylan breaks this game open.
So it's quarter-final time, the race to pick up this famous trophy. Of course, it was the Lee Leopards last year with the golden point. And Kev, obviously, we're at quarter-final stage, which we're going to talk about. But we've seen some of the community clubs playing in the early rounds, and that is what the cup competitions are all about.
Exactly, everyone gets a chance at the beginning of the season, whether you're playing for fun as an amateur or right at the top as a World Club champion like Wigan. Everyone's involved in that super historic trophy, and now the big boys are in. It's really ramping up, and the games just get better and better and better up until the final. And let's hope we have another final like we had last year. Well, let's hope we have Ulkar Lee like the game they had last year in the final. The redemption final will be sensational alone.
Right, just before we talk about those 4 ties, your next live rugby on the Sportsman is Sunday the 21st of April. So a week on Sunday, and it's in the Betfred Women's Super League, and it's the champions York versus St Helens. So York versus St Helens, and join us midday for that in the Betfred Women's Super League. So the Betfred Women's Super League kicks off not this weekend, next weekend, and we're showing the best game, York versus St Helens, live and free on the Sportsman. Right, 5 o'clock, BBC 2, Saturday night. Kev's mentioned it. It's a repeat of last year's final, Hull KR versus the Lee Leopards. How do we see this one?
Well, it's a very contrasting situation this year than it was last year. Last year, Lee were flying, no injury worries, and this year, you know, the form's not great at the moment, but I mentioned they have got a few problems with injuries. So Hull KR are flying. You know, they really are in great form, and it's Hull KR's ground. So yeah, I think Hull KR will just get this, get the victory. However, you know, because Lee Leopards are the reigning holders of the cup, that's a big psychological tool. That I remember when
the cup can do some funny things, can't it?
We won the cup in '99 in Leeds. Our Super League form was terrible in 2000. We lost the first 5 or 6 games straight. But every Challenge Cup round, there was a feeling in the camp, we need to defend this. We need to get to Wembley again. Anyway, so we won and just kept winning the cup, and we went all the way. We didn't actually get our hands on the cup, but we got to the final. So there'll be a lot of incentive there for the Lee Leopards. But at the moment, I just think Hull KR will have a little bit too much for them.
I agree. I think Hull KR's form is pretty special at the minute, and especially at home. We know how many red and white flags will be in there and supporting Willie Peters' team, but Derek Beaumont will have a few tricks up his sleeve, I'm sure. We saw how passionate he was about the Cup last year, and I'm sure he'll be speaking to the team. And they have still got quality in that side. Have they got enough without Ipape and John Asiata? I'm not sure, but they'll definitely make a competition of it.
Then at 6 o'clock on Saturday night, it's for Catland Dragons versus the Huddersfield Giants. Kev, how do you see this one?
Yeah, well, I make Catalans the favourites just purely because of the form.
They were excellent, weren't they, against Saints last week?
They were, and it was the adversity that they went through and the way that the French spine all came together and looked like they'd played together for a long, long time. I thought Da Costa at 9 was sensational, and I thought Cesar Rouget, who went on at 6, was equally as good. So they'll have to be that again. Huddersfield will go there confident. They went there last year and won a game there in the Super League, and obviously they've had a fantastic win at the weekend against Hull. But for me, I just think Catalan's too strong. I think the fact that the fans are really backing the team in Perpignan now, and the amount of support they'll get, it's probably the hardest place to go with the travel and the crowd and everything. So yeah, just for me, Catalans.
Yeah, I agree with Brownie there. I think any team in Super League who goes over there, Catalans will be favourites. Just the nature of the travel and the heat, etc. But Huddersfield are confident. I think they've had a couple of good wins, and I think Ian Watson's really is working his magic there now at the Giants. So I don't think they'll have any pressure on him. No one's going to expect him to go over there and get the win. So I think he'll relay that to the team. He'll go over and say, let's throw caution to the wind. Let's have a go, and hopefully that will be good enough for the Giants. But I do think Catalans will get the win and be in the draw.
Catalans, of course, won it in 2018. Huddersfield were runners-up in 2022 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. One of the 2022 winners, Wigan, travelled to Castleford. Now, this was the opening game for Wigan in the Super League season, and Wigan, won it comfortably. Are they going to win it comfortably on Saturday, Kev?
Well, they did win it comfortably in round 1, but it was under controversial circumstances with the sending off of Liam Watts that day, and there was a few at the start of the game. I thought Castleford were actually the better team for probably the first 20-30 minutes, so they'll look back at that and think they can mix it. It's almost a free hit for them. Everyone expects Wigan to go there, progress through to the next round,
and at least they've got a Super League win under the belt.
And that's what I was just going to say. They've just got the first Super League win. They'll be confident. And the pitch is going to be atrocious. I guarantee the groundsman will be told, leave it alone this week, let the rain keep coming down, and let's
It's not the groundsman's fault. We've had a lot of rain.
We have had a lot of rain, but I don't think it'll be... I think Craig Lingard will be quite happy because it will be a leveller for the Tides.
Castleford, Wigan.
I think Wigan, but I don't think they'll have it all their own way. Confidence is a massive tool in rugby league, and from last week, Castleford will be confident. They're at home again, and what Brownie said, no one expects Castleford to go nowhere near Wigan really with the form both sides are in. So they'll give it a good shot, but I just think Wigan will be a little bit too strong, but I think it'll be a lot closer than people think.
Also on Sunday at 4:30 live on BBC Two, it's St Helens versus Warrington. What a game this could be.
Yeah, really, really exciting fixture. This is the plum tie of the round in it, definitely. And Warrington going into confident. They've got a really good record at St Helens recently in the last 4 or 5 years, even though they've been struggling in certain degrees with form, etc. But they'll go there and you only get one shot at the Challenge Cup, so I can't wait for this one. I think it'll be fiercely contested, but I just think the form St Helens are in at the moment, even though they did get beat last week away at Catalans, I just think if they can raise to the level what they raised against Wigan on Good Friday, I think they'll beat anyone in the Super League, and I think they'll be in the bag for the semi-final, I think.
Talking about that game against Wigan at Saints, Alex Walmsley was outstanding.
Yeah, he's been outstanding for this opening part of the season. He was the difference for me against Wigan when in his last stint. The amount he made the break before Tommy Makinson's try, he was making offloads. Every time he carried the ball, he was bouncing off people. I think one thing for Warrington is this is Sam Burgess' first massive game, and what I do know about Sam is he is a great leader, and some of his speeches that I've had off Sam when I was a player, he'll have them boys fired up, and I think the opening 20 minutes will set the game. If Warrington stay with Saints for 20 minutes, I think the Warrington Wolves will win this match.
Really?
I do. I just feel that they're slowly building. It's not been fabricated. It's always our year. They've talked that down, but they've earned the right now. They've gone to Leeds. They've picked up. They'll have a few players back, and I honestly think Ben Curry's form at the moment at the back of the pack is really, really good as I've seen him play. And Sam, mark my words, will get the boys up for this game.
So we've got 4 brilliant quarterfinals in the Betfred Challenge Cup. Right, I want you to look into your crystal balls then. So obviously we've got 4 ties, we've got semi-finals. Which 2 teams do you think could end up contesting at Wembley, if the draw goes right as well, of course?
I think the Catalan Dragons will be in there. I don't think they'll get beat this weekend, and once you get to that next stage, it's all bets are off. So I think them, Hull KR, but I'm going to throw Warrington in. I know you asked for 2, but they're the 3. I think Warrington will come up with an upset, and Hull KR and Catalans at home this week will get through.
Hull KR, Catalans, Wigan and St Helens. I think they'll be in the bag for the semi-final. But it would be great for the Warrington club, and that tie in particular, I'm really looking forward to.
Because we had a brilliant final last year. We've obviously got a repeat of that in Hull KR versus Lee Leopards. The final last year was just fantastic, wasn't it?
It was one of the best finals I've ever seen. It had everything. I think, Derek Beaumont thought the game was over. He was coming down to celebrate, and then we're into golden point, and then the drop goal at the end. If you wrote a script, it'd be too far-fetched, that final last year, because Lachlan Lamb getting the drop goal, his dad coaching the team, Derek almost marshalling the troops on the sideline. It had everything, and Hull KR, they'll still be hurting from that, because they could have won a trophy themselves, and they'll be going all out this year to rectify that and go one stage further. Because
it was good at Tottenham, but it's brilliant to be back at Wembley, isn't it? That's what it's all about.
Wembley's what it's about. Like, I don't really care if Wembley's falling to bits, and it isn't. But Wembley's Wembley. It's what everyone dreams and where everyone dreams.
I mentioned Wembley and start smiling.
Yeah, definitely. Before the grand final, Wembley in the Challenge Cup was the be-all and end-all for Rugby League, and some great memories growing up just watching it, and to be part of playing in a few finals was amazing. But last year's final was incredible. Both teams who were in there, one had not won for 50 years, the other for 40 years, so they were going to create history, whoever won, and the game was unbelievable. I had the pleasure of watching it with a few ex-League players, and they were all in tears after the game. It meant so much to them players and the town, and it was fantastic.
Gents, thanks for coming in. So this is what it's all about. It's a quarter-final stage of the Betfred Challenge Cup.